When my guest tonight was 7 years old, he quit boxing. 7 years later, he came back and proceeded to have one of the most memorable careers in boxing history. Ray Charles Leonard won a gold medal at the Olympics, 6 world titles in 5 different weight classes, and became the first boxer to win $100 million in prize money. But before he became Sugar Ray, did you know he was a shy introvert who loved reading comic books, nearly drowned in an overflowing creek, and had no aspiration of becoming a professional boxer? Tonight we'll learn what makes this undeniable icon who he is. A man who once said, "You have to know you can win. You have to think you can win. You have to feel you can win." Please welcome Boxing Hall of Famer, a legend, Sugar Ray Leonard. It's always good when you get the standing ovation before the interview. That's a good sign. How are you? How you feeling? Thanks for being here. It's an honor. This building is lit up because you're in the house. Do you feel that everywhere you go, being who you are?
You know, I feel love. I feel respect. I feel appreciation. And that is what I've tried to and continue to try to instill in my kids.
Let's talk about kids, and let's talk about the kids you grew up with and this family that you were a part of. 5th of 7. What was life like growing up in Palmer Park, Maryland?
Well, life itself was okay. We didn't know how bad we had it. We didn't know how bad off we were because everyone around us were the same. No one had more than the other. I just know that my father and mother, they were the backbone of who we are today and who I am today.
I read where your dad, Cicero, made a boxing ring in the front yard and was fighting any and all comers.
My dad was a boxer, and he told me, in the Navy. I don't think that's true, but that's my father, so I can't dispute that. But every time I go see my father in South Carolina, he tells me about this guy, Popeye, that he beat up. He said, you know what, Popeye was a strong guy, and I couldn't beat him, he couldn't beat me. He tells me the story every year, the same exact story. And but he's a proud man. My father's a very simple man, not educated, but an honest man, a hardworking man, and a good guy.
You know, if your dad was the backbone, your mom was right there with him. And it took a strong woman to make that family work. And I know that whether you said it kiddingly or not, she was tougher than some of your early opponents in the ring.
Without question, Joe. My mom, first of all, she fights for her children. She will fight anyone. Physically, mentally, psychologically, she is there. I remember, like it was yesterday, vividly, that my mom, who was living in Washington, D.C., she came home from work about 11:30 and decided to drive to South Carolina without sleeping. She had just got off work. And it was my 2 little sisters and myself going to South Carolina, and she fell asleep at the wheel. We went into a ravine, and it knocked me out. And I looked over at the driver's side, and all I saw was blood everywhere. And the window was rolled down. Then all of a sudden, my door opened up, and it was my mother, and she was holding her mouth, her lip. And she opened the door and said, "Let's get out, kids, let's get out the car, get out the car." Because water was filling up the car. She had knocked her teeth out, it was a bad blow to her. But all she wanted to do was provide and save her kids. And I remember that all the time. Even when I have tough times, I think about my mom because she was the backbone of the family. She was the strong one.
Your brother, who was just above you, I mean, we're talking about 9 people in total living in a 2-bedroom place. And as you said, you didn't know any differently, but everybody was close. You slept in the same bed as your brother, Roger.
When he let me.
When he let you?
Yeah.
When he wasn't kicking you or shoving you onto the ground?
Yes.
When I talked to him, he said, you know, here I was out on the streets getting in trouble, and there's little perfect Ray sitting there reading a comic book, watching Mighty Mouse on TV. You were kind of the stay-at-home, didn't get into trouble kid in that family, at least on the boys' side.
I got in trouble. I just didn't get caught.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
well, Roger didn't know,
he didn't know.
No.
But I didn't do really, really bad things. I mean, I would take someone's donut. I mean, something of that nature.
Right.
I didn't do anything really bad. But I was like a mama's boy because I was an introvert. I stayed to myself. I played with my, cowboys and Indians. I was so quiet, so shy. I was a wallflower. I was so to myself.
And I'm fascinated that somebody as physically gifted as we all saw in the ring for so many years was not a great athlete as a little boy. Like, none of the other sports really fit you. You would think a guy with great feet and great hands and in shape would be great at basketball or great at this, great at that. I know you were good at tumbling.
Yes.
And eventually it was boxing, but really the other sports, according to your brother, weren't for you.
I didn't qualify to play football because I thought it was too dangerous. I thought that baseball was too dangerous. Basketball, no one picked me anyway, so that was dangerous. But my life, I look back in retrospect, I had an incredible life without those major sports because I felt inferior. Boxing became a sport that I saw or found out that I could do, and when I was taken first to the gym, I put those gloves on. And Joe, whether I found boxing found me, or we found each other, there was a magic to that introduction with gloves, the independent sport.
The first time you tried it, though, 7 years old, and you were like, no, this isn't working.
That was at number 2 boys club, a kid, 7 years old, 8 years old. I put the gloves on, the guy said, boom. I said, I'm good, that's it. I retired, and I came back, and I was like, I was 14 years old.
And again, not to keep bringing him up, but Roger's the guy that dragged you down there.
Yes, he said, Ray, come with me to the gym. And I said, why? But it was a marriage made in heaven. It was a relationship. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm not that good, I'm not that great, but I'm gonna train harder than everyone. I'm gonna run further than everyone. I'm gonna hit the bags longer than everyone. I did what I could, every single time.
When you hit that bag, was it a feeling unlike you ever had before when you were working a speed bag or hitting the heavy bag? Or what was that like? What hooked you in?
Hitting that big bag, boom, 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 because I was thinking about my brother Roger. I always want to beat him.
And he could fight too, by the way.
Oh, he could fight. He was better than I was. That's why I was hitting the bag. And I was boom, 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 boom. It just released anxieties. It released all the tension, all the, it was just a release for me.
To the point where you were running to school to get your road work in.
The kids thought I was crazy. I was running to school, and this is like, I was in like 9th grade, 8th, 9th grade, and I would run behind the school bus, and they said, that kid is crazy, you know? And I get to school, change clothes, and run back sometimes, because I was that determined. I mean, at that age, 13, 14, 15, I was so dedicated. I was so focused, because I wanted to be somebody. I didn't necessarily say I wanted to be champion. I didn't want to say I want to be a boxing champion, but I wanted to be something special. And I worked hard for it. You
wanted to stand out, right? In your family, not in a bad way, but you wanted to accomplish.
I want to accomplish, yeah, Joe, I want to accomplish. I don't know, I don't really know. I try to look back on what I meant by special. You know, I'm still searching to a degree. I just didn't want to be ordinary.
You're a teenager, you're getting into boxing, but I know you were doing mock interviews and you were trying to polish yourself on how you would respond if somebody put a microphone in front of your face. What incredible foresight. What was behind that?
I just didn't want to be, I just want to be prepared. I would carry around a dictionary to try to every day find a new word. And this was on my own. And I wasn't really a big book reader, and I would just watch Mighty Mouse on TV. I was more of a television kid. And I believed in superheroes. I believed in Spider-Man. I believed in Superman. I thought these people were real.
Well, it's not that crazy to think about a young guy who was smallish, who's watching Mighty Mouse, who's this little mouse who becomes a world beater, wearing a cape and, taking the bad guy out. Same with Batman or Spider-Man. They had a regular life, and then they became this other person, this superhero. There was a transformation that happened.
There is a transformation, without question, that happened. That happened with me. I mean, boxing became my way up and out.
Did you have an early goal with boxing? Because I know, are you a goal setter? Were you a kid that got into the sport that said, by age X, I'm going to be an Olympic champion. By age Y, I'm going to be champion of the world. Or did that unfold as it came?
I didn't have goals at that time, but once I really started putting the gloves on, I wanted to win the Golden Glove. The Golden Gloves was this tournament, boxing tournament, which is, you win the Golden Gloves, you're somebody. And I won the Golden Gloves. Then I heard about the AAU, the National AAU, the Pan American Games, and I heard about the Olympics. But it was the Olympics that said, that's what I want. And I tried to qualify for the 1972 Olympics. I was 16, and I told them I was 17.
So you lied about your age?
A little bit, but but the kids were so experienced, far more experienced than me, and I lost in the quarterfinals of the trials, Olympic trials in 1972. And I remember vividly in the dressing room crying because I could have made the Olympic team. And a coach came in there and said, Sugar Man. He said, don't worry, 1976 you'll be more experienced. 1976 you will win. And I took that to heart. I took it to heart.
So you're getting this experience in the ring, and I know you had a lot going on in your life outside the ring. People are taking advantage of a young Ray Leonard.
Well, the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me was that I was sexually abused by a coach, Olympic coach, because that guy was who I looked up to, who I trusted. That guy was my way to the Olympics, I thought. And he took advantage of that. And he did something to me that I kept in my heart. Something that I kept so long hidden from the world. I never told my mother or father, I never told my brothers or sisters, I never told my girlfriend, and I didn't come back with until, I think it was 2011, I wrote a book. And it was cathartic. I mean, for me to talk about what happened to me, for a man, a young man, a famous person, a boxer, a champion, all those things told me I couldn't talk about this. This was voodoo, this was no good. But the more I talked about it, the better I felt. Even to this day, I'm not ashamed of what happened. I'm sorry it did happen, but I've been able to help other people get by with their life. So it's a wonderful thing.
In 1976, you are of age, and it's okay that you are qualifying for the Olympics.
Nothing compares to the Olympic gold medal. Nothing.
No championship, no.
No, because they represent something totally different. For me, for the Olympics, that wasn't about money or fame. That was about representing myself and my country, and being the best in the amateur field. That was so special to me.
You get that opportunity, and we're going to show a portion of the gold medal match. Let's take a look.
Tactical boxing exhibition by Ray Leonard of Palmer Park, Maryland, and the Cuban is hurt again. He is hurt again. Leonard is now battering. Oh, that Cuban fighter is now in desperate trouble. Another standing 8 count. Ray Leonard with a right lead and then a left. Cleaning up. The Cuban is ready to go. The referee stops the contest. Ray Leonard of Palmer Park, Maryland, will go to the University of Maryland now. His dream is realized as he has won himself a gold medal.
God, that's powerful.
That was... It was one of the most cherished moments, ideal moments, significant moments in my life. It wasn't easy because although Saldama from Cuba had annihilated everybody, and the general consensus felt that I had no way of winning, but it was heart. It was heart and speed.
Well, to think of just to that point, where you came from, and here you are just wailing away, winning a gold medal for your country. And after that, it was kind of like, okay, I did it. I won the gold medal, and now I want to go to college, correct?
That's correct. When I stood on that pedestal and the national anthem was being played and the gold medal was placed around my neck, it was kind of bittersweet because I was so excited to have won the gold medal, but I knew it was over. I knew that this would be my last fight, and I was going to go to the University of Maryland, further my education, get a great job, and continue. Got home, and my father had went to a coma. Everyone's crying. I'm crying, and the family was an emotional mess, and we had no money. I asked for a mentor, Jenks Morton. I said, Jenks, how can I make fast money? He said, turn pro and you make fast money. And that was the last thing on my mind, to turn pro, because I didn't want to be like one of the other boxers, great champions, who made so much money, but at the end of the day had nothing to show for it. I didn't want to be that way. For me, I did that for my father.
Did you expect endorsements coming out of the Olympics?
Oh, for sure, but Bruce Jenner took those.
I mean, somebody's going to get them, and it was Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner, yeah, because he got home, and Bruce was on the Wheaties box and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to be on the Wheaties box, too. Maybe my hair wasn't long enough, I don't know. But nothing happened, nothing really happened. So it's either turn pro or get a job.
This is a fascinating time in your life because I know Don King says, hey, Ray, why don't we go check out an Ali fight? And it wasn't the fight so much as what Ali told you either before or after that fight. Knowing Ali maybe during the fight, he tells you something very important about your life as you're about to turn pro.
Muhammad Ali, my idol, my friend, he said to me, he said, Ray, if you ever turn pro, he says, make sure you sign your own checks. He says, and make sure you take care of yourself from a business perspective. And also make sure you take Angelo Dundee with you, his trainer. He said he has the right connection and the right complexion. I mean, but
and that's just a sliver of the brilliance of that guy.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And then you meet this guy, Mike Trainer.
Mike Trainer.
Who, if there's one guy, as I read your bio, that really set you up to be this great industry, which is this one-man gang of just promotion, and here's the man who sets up your business in a way that is in line with what Ali told you?
Well, I told Mike Trainer, I said, Mike, I don't want to turn pro. I want to be on the Wheaties box. he said, the chances are better if you fight. And I said, I don't want to be owned by anyone. I want to be my own man. He said, how much do you believe in yourself? I said, 100%. So he put together 30 people. They each loaned me at $1,000. I paid them off my first professional fight, plus interest, and it became incorporated.
And as you're walking out of the ring, everybody who ponied up the $1,000 for
back.
Ray Leonard got their money back.
Yep. I did that. I turned professional. My father regained his health probably in about 6 months to a year. And I said to myself, you know, this is not a bad job. And I kept going. I kept going. I said, well, I might as well continue. And boxing became my priority. So I would fight once and twice a month. And we would call the local promoter, whether it's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, New Orleans, wherever, DC, whatever, and pay the local promoter a flat fee, and I would take things, take the top and the delayed broadcast and that thing.
That's unprecedented at the time in the fight world.
It was unprecedented, but Mike Trainer's his knowledge, and
you could fight for what you could get and when you wanted to fight, which I would imagine for somebody who's actually the one in the ring, that's as important as any of it. You want to have your schedule to what fits your training schedule.
Yes.
It wasn't long after that, though, that you're becoming a draw. I mean, by the time you're fighting for your first title, that's a good payday that you've got waiting for you. There were not a lot picking you for that fight.
Well, this incredible Wilfred Benitez was incredible. He was just a prodigy. He was world champion at the tender age of 17. That's how good he was.
I'm fascinated, and I don't want to put these words back in your mouth, but I've read where you talk about what it meant to you when you looked in the mirror before a fight, and the reflection that you saw back at you was basically a precursor to what was about to happen.
Yes, yes. When I get to my dressing room, I look in the mirror, and whatever image I see, that's going to dictate what happens in the fight. When I see Sugar Ray Leonard in the mirror, I could beat Mike Tyson. If I see Ray Leonard, the civilian, I'm in trouble. And it really happens. And the times that it did happen, I'm walking towards the ring, and I'm not really feeling it. I'm not 100%. And people say, "Hey, Sugar, hey, go get him." I say, "You have no idea." I say, "Can we postpone this for a little, for a few days?" Because a few days later, I will be okay. You with me?
Yeah.
It's just at that precise moment, that particular night, I didn't want to fight.
It's almost like, is Peter Parker seeing Peter Parker or Spider-Man? Is Mighty Mouse seeing the little mouse or the mouse with the cape on? That's really what you're looking for, right? You're looking for the superhero side to yourself.
I really am, as a metaphor. I mean, I look in that mirror and I see who's there. I see who's present at that precise moment. And 9 times out of 10, I saw myself. I saw Sugar Ray Leonard.
He got him down again. It seemed almost inevitable. Known for the skills he's shown. Maybe now they won't call Sugar Ray Leonard a hype. There it is. He stopped the fight. He stopped the fight. And there is a new world welterweight champion.
What was it like to win that first championship? Compared to even maybe 1976 and winning gold.
Winning that title, I was excited, jubilant, what have you. But I also questioned myself. I said, I don't want to do this too much longer. Because to be a champion is one thing, but to remain champion, to stay champion, that's the big one. That's the big one.
Because they're all coming after you.
They come after you. They want what you have. And it's not easy, but I love it. I loved it when I was doing it.
You could never really describe to me or anybody what it's like when you're in that ring. Man, your legs have got to be burning. Your arms are exhausted. You're trying to keep your hands up. And it's the moment of truth. This is the moment for
Joe,
you.
it's indescribable. What it feels like, when I fought this guy, Wilfred Benitez, for the world title, the first one. I was so tired. I was so tired. Over 100 degrees in the ring again. I'm sitting on a stool, looking at this guy, my opponent, and he looks very alert. And I push myself beyond reality, if you will, because it takes more than heart sometimes. The mind, the body, the spirit, everything has to work together. They have to all sync at one time. Because I don't have a defensive back to help me. It's just me. It's mano a mano.
Are you able to hear your corner guys? Are you listening to what they're saying? Or you're obviously looking over at Benitez.
At a certain point in that fight, you hear nothing. You can't hear anything because you're thinking more about what's next. What are you going to do next? Are you throwing more punches? Are you going to run? Are you going to move? Are you going to do this or do that? The ring gets that small. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
What does it take, mindset-wise, for you to stay on top? You say everybody's gunning for you. What does it change in your training? What does it change in the way you look in the mirror?
It's what I've called upon for so many years. It's that intentional fortitude. You want to be a winner. You know, we may not want to do the work, but we have to do the work, which I call the road work. You have to put in the hours. You have to do your due diligence. You have to do whatever it takes to win. It always gets that way, because when the fight goes 12 rounds, 10 rounds, 15 rounds, it's so hard physically, mentally, spiritually. It wipes you out. But when you win, it's everything. Everything is okay now until the next one.
Well, your second title defense is against a guy named Roberto Duran. You're linked with him for the rest of your life. That series of fights, mesmerizing. And that first fight, and that press conference with that giant boxing glove,
Yeah.
where he's tapping you, and it's pissing you off, and it's getting under your skin. Talk about what we see those press conferences. A lot of times it looks like it's just an act. But that seemed like it really bothered you.
I hated that son of a bitch. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I used to hate
You can
that
say,
son-
I hated that motherfucker. I don't care what you...
I hate that motherfucker. Because what happened...
He was a nasty...
Oh, my God. I mean, you see how I liven him up now? Roberto Duran, he was more intimidating than Mike Tyson. He was, like at the press conference, he would stare me down, he pushed me, he shoved me, he kicked me, he cursed me, he cursed my wife, and although it was in Spanish, no translation was really necessary.
Right.
Before, when I first met him, he was so nice, mi amigo,
Yeah.
pa, 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 pa. And then all of a sudden he changed. I said, who is this guy?
Did it affect you?
Yes, it did. Yes, absolutely. Because I can't get him back verbally. I said, I'm gonna beat him at his own game. I'm gonna beat this son of a bitch at his own game. So I stood toe-to-toe with this guy for 15 rounds. But I knew by the end of 12 rounds, this is not smart. Because Duran, they call him Manos de Piedras, hands of stone. I swear,
Did he hit the hardest?
Oh my, that night he did. He hit me so hard. I said, who else is in here with me? But I knew, because fighters know when they lose, when they lost. They know, we know. So when they was calling the decision, I knew I lost.
Did you really?
I knew, you know.
How'd you feel making your way out of that arena as you look back? I mean, I know you were exhausted, but what'd you think about the process and how you reacted to that?
I did the best I could. The the way I win, I also lose the same way. I say, you know, hey, you know, good fight, whatever. My wife fainted. My wife at the time, Juanita, she fainted.
She fainted during the fight?
Oh, I want to faint. I want to faint. She fainted. And my mom, I think she fainted. I mean, everyone, I think we all fainted. But I mean, that was so difficult.
Is any point going through your mind, I blew it with the way I tried to fight him?
I took my wife to Hawaii to kind of get away, and I'm on the beach running, and people say, "Hey, Sugar, hey man, nice fight. You know, hey Sugar, if you had boxed him, you could have beat him."
Boxed him instead of slugging with him. Yeah.
I kept hearing that, and I cut the vacation short. I called my attorney. I said, "Mike, listen, I want to fight Duran ASAP. Get him back in the ring." He said, "Ray, enjoy yourself." I said, "No, in the ring." So when the fight was made, I was ready this time. My weight was perfect. My training camp was perfect. But what made things even more better, I should say, was the fact that Ray Charles sang "America the Beautiful."
Oh, it's such a great moment.
My namesake sang, I mean, because I was ready for Duran, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But when Ray Charles sang, and he came over to me after he sang,
what did he say to you?
"Kick his ass." He said, "Kick his," yeah. And I said, "Yes, I will."
And your style is completely different now, 5 months later. You're not standing toe-to-toe. You're doing everything in the book to distract and entertain. And I mean, that was you.
Those things just happen.
Did you make that, this windmill thing and all that, did you do that on the fly?
Roger did that. Roger, my brother, he used to do this.
That was his move.
That was his move, but not that move.
Right.
Yeah. But it just spontaneous. It was so, just happened at the moment. It just happened at the moment.
You can see how Leonard's confidence has grown. Now the ball, and he caught him with the left. And he's got Duran openly, not just furious, but puzzled. What? Duran has quit! Roberto Duran has quit! There can be no other explanation. Pandemonium in the ring, and Roberto Duran has quit.
That's
Wow.
better.
You like that highlight better?
I like that better.
I mean, that's how I grew up watching boxing. That is just pure beauty.
Well, Duran was just so, I don't know. Things were so different. It was night and day from the first fight to the second fight. The first fight, I was stationary against the ropes, in the corners, and he was able to take advantage of that. This fight here, Duran was like a bully. I hate to say it, but he was like a bully. And when you challenge a bully or fight him back, they do one or two things. They come back stronger, or they run away. Duran threw his hands up in frustration without realizing the ramifications it would have on his legacy.
He quit.
He quit, yeah.
He quit in the 8th round, and this is a guy who had the title. He's handing it. Now, I say that, and I know you want to reach over this thing and punch me right in the head, because what I know is stuck with you since then is, yeah, he quit. Did he say no mas? Did he not? I don't know. But he quit because you were kicking his ass. Coming out of that fight, it was all about Duran quitting in the 8th round when it gave you no credit for being the one that forced him to quit in the 8th round, right?
That's true. I mean, absolutely. But I was also being a little selfish. The fact that it wasn't about, it was why he quit, you know? And it wasn't that I made him quit. It was like, why did he quit? I made him quit. And it bothered me for a while, a few months maybe a year. But we did a thing together and went to Panama. And we met up again, and in the ring. And I said, Roberto, you know, all these years later, now people want to know what happened in that ring. Only you can tell them the truth. And I was really waiting for him to say, yeah, you really frustrated me, and I threw my hands up in defeat. I was waiting to hear that. I want to hear that so bad. Really, really bad. And he said, I had cramps. He said I had cramps. But then again, I saw him searching for words, and I saw tears in his eyes, and I backed away. I said, you know what, Duran, Roberto, it's okay. It's okay.
Did you hear him say no mas?
Didn't hear him say no mas, but if you do this, what does this mean?
No mas.
No mas.
From that moment on, it meant no mas, literally.
Yeah, but again, Roberto Duran, legendary, without question. Some incredible contests in the ring. He's a legend, without question.
But to get back to that, you wanted to hear him say, you beat me, right?
That way. I wanted him to say that I made it. Again, that was the selfish part of me that wanted to hear him say that. But as a man to another man, if it causes you that much pain, it's okay.
You have this success in the ring. What's life like outside the ring?
I was crazy. That was my Rolls Royce. I didn't like Rolls Royce. I just bought it because they say it's a great car.
So you're living the life.
Yeah. You know, the way I handle life, have been successful, is I drank. I didn't sip my wine. I gulped my wine. I didn't, I didn't just take a shot. I took a double shot, and I did everything excessively. I didn't want to just be a plane and cruising at 35,000. I wanted to be the Concorde, just go real fast, go up. Because I was trying to get rid of my sadness inside, emotional sadness.
Is this from having been taken advantage of? Is this from that coach that violated you?
Joe, it's all those things. It's those things and much more.
Pressure of being a champion?
Life, things happen here, there, and you don't put them all together until it's too late. You take a drink because you're supposed to take a drink because it's cool to take a drink, or you take a hit of cocaine, or you smoke weed, whatever the case may be. It could be whatever. But it's just how you deal with it. I use it as a sponge, as a crutch. I use it to cushion myself, as a Band-Aid. And you don't use anything as a Band-Aid except the Band-Aid.
And I would imagine for this introvert, as you kind of referenced earlier, once you get a couple drinks in you, the personality comes out. You loosen up a little bit. You're more...
Loosen up?
Crazen up?
I'm the man. I'm the man.
Life of the party.
Oh, my God, yeah. Because I remember when I was still drinking, I stopped cocaine. I was still drinking. And my wife, my present wife, she would say, I can't believe you did that. I said, babe, I'm just having fun. That was like a night out drinking when I was drinking.
Right.
I said, baby, I'm just, hey, I didn't know what she was talking about. Because you have blackouts, and I was drinking so much back then. I mean, I'm 9 years sober, going on 10.
That's great.
Yeah.
So after you beat Duran, it doesn't take long, and all of a sudden there's this guy circling you, and he's bigger, and he's got a longer reach, 80-inch reach to your 71, and he wants you. And this guy can pop. This is one of the most impressive things about Ray Leonard. You didn't duck anybody. If they wanted you, come and get it. And this was a guy that wanted it and wanted you. And it wasn't that long after you beat Duran that you're fighting Thomas Hitman Hearns.
Yes, 1981. And in fact, my brother Roger, my lovely brother Roger, really didn't think that I could beat Tommy Hearns. But he was in my camp because I paid him. But
he paid for their loyalty.
Well, most people didn't think I could beat Tommy Hearns because Tommy was a beast. Tommy Hearns was, Tommy was 6'2", fast and powerful. He just knocked everybody out. And they just knew that I was next.
Were you at all worried going into this
scared?
fight? Were you scared?
A little bit. No, it wasn't scared. It was fear.
I'm scared to ask you if you were scared.
No, but I remember getting to that ring, and I trained for Tommy. Trained hard for Tommy Hearns. And I'm walking around the ring. And I looked around, I kind of surveyed the audience, and I said, all right, who in here can beat Tommy Hearns? And I said, Muhammad Ali, because Ali was in the audience. I said, I'm gonna beat Muhammad Ali. And that's who I became in the early rounds.
Whoa.
Boxed.
You saw Ali in the crowd, and that hit you when you were out there?
Out there. I think I talked to myself. I mean, I'm not crazy.
Right.
But no, these things happen like that. Spontaneous, I mean, just that quick.
What was your game plan going in to the fight before you saw Ali?
Well, because he's so tall, I had to break him down. I had to break down the foundation, go to his body and what have you. But at that precise moment, it was like, what else can I do on top of that? And it was being Muhammad Ali.
Hey, let his concentration water. He got hit. But as long as he's got that long, lashing left jab out in front of him, Leonard should be the boxer. But boxing has not turned it his way. I think Leonard has to fight a desperate fight. Good right hand. That Hearns was hurt again. Hearns was hurt. He's trying to hold on. Hearns is in real trouble. Hearns got a punch. Hearns has got to give him some respect. Or grab hold of him, which he's not doing. No, he's too weak. He has nothing left. He's going to be knocked out.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I miss boxing.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. That was fun to watch for us. That was, you heard the announcer say, you know, Hearns is ahead on all three judges' scorecards. You're going to have to make something happen in rounds that don't even exist anymore, because that's a nasty time in a fight.
No, I mean,
flurry.
my left eye was closed shut. It was Tommy. Tommy was an incredible fighter. And he's a friend now. He's a friend too. Tommy Hearns is a friend. Duran's a friend. Hagler, we're still working things.
Okay.
We're still working things out.
Were you surprised you beat him?
No, not at all, Joe. Because again, like I spoke earlier, I said, in that ring, when I'm sitting there with my left eye closed, 100 degrees, you're called upon to win that fight. You're called upon to show who you are. And I answered the call.
We have this quote on the wall: you have to know you can win, you have to think you can win, you have to feel you can win. And I would imagine that's speaking right to that.
At some point, you come to a moment that you're either gonna soar or you're gonna dive. The 13th round, 14th round, 15th round, your left eye closed. You're exhausted. It's 100 degrees in the ring. You're standing there, and you got to go for another round, or another 2 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever the case may be. You're called upon to be great. Most of us can't answer that call. We rather just go along with the fight. The ones that win decisively are the ones that excel and push forward.
Shortly after, you discover that you have a detached retina, talking about the Hearns fight. To a boxer, to anybody, a detached retina is a big, big deal.
Big deal.
Talk us through that and what your options were and what you were thinking at that time.
What had happened, I had symptoms of what they call floaters. It's like when you're fatigued, you get those little floaters, if you will, in your eyes, especially when if something bright, you know, you look up to the sun, whatever. And I was telling my guys, I said, hey man, something's not right. And I said, I'm seeing these circles and whatever. He said, nothing, man, that's no big deal, it's no big deal. And it got to a point that it bothered me that much that I went to see an ophthalmologist in Baltimore, at Johns Hopkins Hospital. And Dr. Ron Michaels checked me out. He said, you have a partial detached retina, and within a week, you'll be blind. And I said, I'm gonna have surgery done.
And so this has got to make you evaluate the whole plan, right?
Well, I retired naturally. I retired because of my family and.
Were they more worried about it than you were?
Oh, I wasn't worried about it because my doctor said if you want to fight, you can fight. He was not concerned. He felt that the eye that he corrected was stronger than the other eye. He said, you'll be okay.
In 1984, you come back and you announce you're coming back to the ring, and people are thinking, what's he doing?
My first fight coming back, 1984, I fought this guy named Kevin Howard. And Kevin Howard was always out of shape. He was never focused and everything. He was kind of heavy set. And the fight was announced. We signed the contracts. At the press conference, I said, hey, how you doing, Kevin? Son of a bitch, this is not the same guy. He got in shape.
Kevin's been working out.
Yeah, damn right. Got in shape, was like a rock.
I got Ray Leonard coming.
Yeah.
I'm going to start working out.
Joe, I'm in that ring. The bell ring, bing. I go towards him. He says, boom. I said, that shit hurt. A jab. I said, something. And then he knocked me down. And then I had to fight my heart out to stop him.
You win.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great fight.
Okay, so you walk away again.
I said, I said, guys, I'm not gonna fool anybody. This is it, goodbye, God bless. And I left.
But it's not it, because at some point, I don't know where you are, on a couch at the ring.
I'm in Las Vegas watching Marvin Hagler fight John the Beast Mugabe. People thought it was crazy, because I called my trainer, my attorney, that same night. I said, Mike, I could beat Hagler. He said, Ray, have you been drinking? I said, it doesn't make a difference. I can beat this guy.
So what did you see in the ring out of Marvin that you thought, okay, I can get him?
I just saw that he was being outboxed by a guy who was a slugger, a guy who was a puncher. And I'm sitting there, and I said, I can do this. And I really believed that. I really believed that. So I got home, and I went to the office, and I said, I can do this. He said, are you still drinking?
Right. I mean, Hagler was a beast.
Oh, Hagler hadn't lost a fight in 11 consecutive years. So what I did, got back home, and I went into the training camp, and I had guys come in there from all over the country, middleweights, and they put on fight gloves, and they put on headgear. I put on big boxing gloves for sparring, no headgear. I had a referee, I had judges. I created fights. I got cut. It's because the toughest thing for a fighter who's inactive is getting used to getting hit again.
I just can't. You talk about that in the NFL. Forget it. I mean, in boxing?
I'll show you. Let me show you.
No. I'm good.
You good?
I'm good. Fine. I'm good. They call me Glass Jaw Joe.
Getting hit when you're out of the ring for so long and getting hit, I mean, it doesn't feel good. And it jaws you. It's not natural.
Roger tells me that when you guys would go train, family's there, your entourage, everybody's laughing and having a good time in the van, going to the ring. One day you go to the ring, and one of those guys, those sparring partners, hurt you.
Almost knocked me out cold.
Almost knocked you out. He said, we all got in the van after that, and the thing was dead silent.
No one said one word. It was so quiet in that van going to my hotel. No one said anything. And I said, these son of bitches think I'm getting knocked out. They did.
You thought your family was, thought you had no chance.
Not just the family, no, the whole team, everybody. No one said nothing. And I'm like, these guys don't believe in me. I was so mad. I said, Hagler won't touch me, because I was gonna fight him toe to toe.
That hasn't worked before.
I know, thank God, well, thank God that happened. Thank God that happened. And I was like, I'm a boxer's guy. But it took that chance of being knocked out. It changed my mind. I trained for a year and a half for the whole fight. Got in the ring, and I'm scared, and I'm nervous. I'm like this. Because you know, training is one thing, but in a real fight, actual fight, it's a whole different ball game. So I'm in the ring like this, and I said, "Pow!" I said, "This shit still works."
And Leonard flurries against Hagler and now escapes from the corner.
By the winner, by a split decision, and new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, God.
And I was so much faster than he was. I was so much faster than Hagler. And I was doing like little things and making him mad. And I told my guy, I said, Ollie, 30 seconds before the bell rang, yell 30 seconds. Because I was quick, man. What the hell?
That was good.
That was good. Come on, guys, give me something. Give me something. But I beat him with speed, like in the corner.
So you wanted to finish each round with a flurry.
With a flurry.
And it worked.
Well, it worked that night. It worked that night. They said, you didn't hurt Hagler. I mean, who hurts Hagler? No one hurts Hagler.
To come back after not having been in the ring in 3 years, once over a span of 5 years, to beat him and to hear that, the decision, a split decision, and the new, what's that feeling like?
It's indescribable. Words can't, and that's what brings us back, to hear that again, to hear that one more time.
That pulls you out of retirement, right?
Yeah, it pulls you out of retirement until one day you understand that if the other guy hits you more times than you hit him, you should quit. And I'm not being facetious, but it's, at some point you do come to realization that it's not good.
At any point after that fight, are you thinking, this has gone on too long?
No, you don't think with clarity. You don't think, because you're riding that high. No, it's natural. It's just a natural thing that you have to understand. And I kept going. I wanted more. I would have fought for the heavyweight championship of the world if I had.
I honest to God, I believe that.
Oh, I could, yeah. But when you get into that ring and you don't have that desire anymore, you don't have that feeling anymore, you don't have that confidence anymore, that's when it gets scary.
It took until your final fight for you to get knocked out.
I didn't get knocked out. What are you talking about, Joe?
Okay. It took until your last fight for you to take a 10-second nap? How do you want me to say it?
I'm not laughing, Joe. Okay, I got beat up.
All right, you got beat up.
I got stopped. What? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
All right, no, that's
He's
good.
right.
I like that.
I'm sorry. No,
all right, I got to remember who
I didn't get knocked out, though. I didn't get knocked out. In
Not
fact,
out. Did you think you could beat Camacho?
I did. He's a great fighter and he was a great champion. He beat me fair and square, but I should not have been in the ring. I should not have been in the ring even the last fight. With Terry Norris, who's a great champion, and he said I was his idol. He beat the crap out of me. I admit, the last 2 fights of my career were disastrous, eye-openers. Did I prepare? I prepared the best I could, I think. Was my mind into it? No. Was my heart? No. I was just trying to stay safe. Because, again, like I told you guys earlier, in the ring, I felt safe. I could control things for the most part, I thought. But you know what? Do I have any regrets? No. Because that's made me the person I am today.
It's literally the greatest era of boxing. I think it's got to be the greatest era of boxing. That's got to be satisfying to know that when this sport was at its height, you were sitting on top of the mountain.
Well, it's my appreciation of what is told of me, or said about me. I would never, ever say I was the greatest of all time, this and that. When people tell me they enjoy my work, that's good enough for me.
Do you step in the ring still? You hit the speed
Just
bag.
by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want anybody in the other corner.
No one's going to hit me anymore.
Yeah.
No one's
But do you hit the bag?
I hit the bags. Every now and then.
I've seen you still work that thing.
I
On the
do.
golf show.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. That's a different
So what do you
story.
think's next for you?
What's next for me is one day seeing diabetes become extinct. No more diabetes.
Where does that hit you? Where does diabetes hit you and your family?
My father is diabetic. My friends, their kids are diabetic. They're diabetic. It's more prevalent than people can imagine.
It's a nasty disease.
It's a nasty disease, and it's one of my fights. How about that? It's one of my fights, diabetes.
Here's your last fight out here on the stage. We have a few questions that are unseen by me.
Okay.
Here we go. Would you rather have a time machine that only goes back in time or one that goes forward in time?
Forward in time.
Why?
Because what took place yesterday, what took place a year ago, what took place in the 80s, it's gone. It's gone. It's the past. I want to move ahead.
Would you rather be stranded on a small island alone or with someone who won't stop talking? Present company excluded.
Okay. By myself.
By yourself?
Yeah, all right.
You don't want any companionship?
No.
If they won't shut up?
If they won't shut up?
Yeah.
But what are they talking about?
Crazy shit.
I'm by myself.
You're by yourself.
I'm by myself.
Would you rather have your flight delayed 8 hours or lose your luggage?
Delayed?
You don't want to lose your luggage.
Hell no. No,
What if you lost those shoes?
Oh, I love these shoes.
Don't ever check those through baggage. We keep those.
Oh.
Okay. And finally, thank you for being an American treasure and one of the greatest champion athletes in the history of American sports. All of them. Line them up. Forget just boxing. It's an honor to have you on the show. It's been a blast for everybody in this room. And thank you, Ray Leonard, for being who you are.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Sugar Ray Leonard.